This is my garage, and what we have in front of us is the all-new Mercedes EQS SUV, not to be confused with the sedan version, as both of them share the same name for some odd reason. But this one is the 450 Plus, which means it's rear-wheel drive, and get this, four-wheel steering is standard. So let's take this in-depth tour of this vehicle and talk about its uniqueness and some of its cool, quirky, useful features that I never seen any other car have in today's video. Let's begin. Well, stepping inside the EQS, it has one of these pop-out door handles, and it also says Mercedes-Benz right here, which I think is kind of unique. But if you look closely, there is a hole right here because the physical key fob does have a quick release for a valet key, which looks like this, and then you could insert it to have access to your car in case you're locked out without power. So I like the fact that it has that override ability. And the key itself, this trim is actually made out of some type of metal. It's really nice. It feels durable. This is actually probably the nicest key fob I've seen in a long while on a modern day vehicle. But of course you have your unlock, your lock, and as well as your hatch opening, tailgate opening button over here as well, which is fully automatic. And of course, you do have app control, which this can be paired to your smartphone to be used as a digital key for you, or you can share that digital key. Let me go ahead and step inside. And we do have the hyper screen as well. So we have 3 screens, even one for the passenger right there. But let's turn on this car real quick. Since it's electric, we could run it in the garage. It does like this projector headlight. I'll show you all the animations in a little bit. You can also customize it as well. But I just want to have the AC running because it's freaking hot outside. So the thing about this car is that the hood is unable to be opened. Typically I start my videos looking at the maintenance. But your water filler for your windshield wiper fluid is located here and does lock by itself. You have aero cap design wheels that are like super flat to be super aero efficient. Comes with Goodyear tires. You have those little door sill steppers right here, which I find them to be a nuisance. I just bypass it to get inside the car. But in the front right here, this is where things get interesting. You do have that unique light bar up top. Aggressive grille design over here. Non-functional vents, unfortunately. And then right below, everything is just covered to be super aerodynamic as much as possible. And of course your Mercedes badge right here. And behind here, I'm assuming is also a radar. And then your headlights, these are projector headlights, and they're really bright and gorgeous. They can swivel to illuminate your corners while making a turn. And they also have projectors, which look like this. And then when approaching the vehicle at night, there is a projector with the Mercedes-Benz logo. The door steps actually do illuminate, and there was a spotlight also pointing down in the side view mirror. And that interior looks amazing. I'll show you more in a little bit. With our EQS, it does feature the soft closing door, so if you have it slightly open like this, it will automatically self-close. That's really unique. And that design just continues all the way to the back. And in the back here on the passenger side is where you'll find your DC fast charging port over here, which this car can take up to 200 kilowatts and also self-close too. Although this is kind of concerning. I think mine is just faulty. Back here, nothing really crazy out of the ordinary. I would prefer if the rear wiper was actually tucked underneath the rear wing instead, but it is what it is. There is a tow hitch you could opt for. This one does not have it because this vehicle can actually tow up to 3,500 pounds if equipped with the tow hitch, of course. But your Benz logo back here, by pushing this will open up the hatch, or your tailgate, I'm sorry. And then this is where you could either lock it or close it from here. And yes, you should be able to program it by simply lowering it to a height you like, and then just long hold this, and it'll actually save this height for next time. And then this just illuminates red, so when it's open, can be seen by incoming vehicles in case you're on the side of the road, because over here it just illuminates strictly white. But yeah, back here it's really spacious. There is a third row option available for the EQS. This one does not have that. But since we don't have that, we do have more space down here, because in here would be where you'll find your charger and some pillows as well that the EQS come with, as well as a recovery hook. But then if you lift this even higher, you have additional storage, and right there is where you'll see your inflation kit. No spare tire, unfortunately. 12-volt outlet, nothing out of the ordinary there. A little nice basket here. Your middle seats can be all remotely folded, just like this. That gives you more space if needed. And you do have your privacy cargo screen right here, which you could remove if you don't like it. And then you could just pull this section to raise it all back up automatically. But I'm going to leave it down because I want to show you something. It doesn't go flat. That's what I wanted to show you. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and hop in the second row now. Oh, and this does also have the foot sensor to like open up the back too. You don't have to use the Mercedes logo. So this third seat right here in the second row, if we fold this down, you have a tablet. And this tablet allows you to actually change the climate of the vehicle as well as just other things. This is exclusive to the executive package, which is another $2,600 option, and gives you this Samsung tablet, which you can remove or just leave it enabled right here. It gets me access to control the climate for the back seats. I can also check the air quality as soon as it loads. It's not really the quickest. That main screen is faster because this one does it all wirelessly. And here we have control for comfort, where we can actually change the RGB colors too to our own liking. If we decide to change them, we can. But in the multicolor section, you can find this one with the lightning bolt, which will behave with the vehicle. But basically everything you could do here is what you're able to do there. But if you have kids back here and you don't want them to have access to this tablet, to like disattach it and stuff like that, the front, you could lock the tablet so nobody has access to this. So the tablet would just be a brick if you have kids in the back. And then over here you have additional storage. Or you could use this to wirelessly charge a phone, because this is a wireless charger for another smartphone. Then you may be asking yourself, where is the cup holder? It cannot be the door ones. It's not. You just push this, and this will allow you to gently like place your phone here. So it could like hold your phone if you want it to. But if you press again, it will actually give you your cup holders right there. And then once you're done, you can just store it all the way. And that's what the executive package gets you. Now there is an option for rear entertainment screens as well, which is very similar to that front screen. You have access to it right here and you can watch YouTube and such. And we do have a twin sunroof, but only the driver's side can actually open up. But back here, I mean, the lights just look incredible. Your climate control. And then down here you have two USB-C ports in case your back passengers need it. Air vents located here. Proper air vents located here. And AC control. And if they need their seats to be heated, they have the ability right here. No ventilated seats for the rear though, unfortunately. But the seat controls are very similar to like the driver and passenger side. Just there's no massage seats. So these seats, I could move them up, recline them. It's really like customizable, almost like the drivers. But it still is very somewhat limited for the back passengers. But this is super comfortable. I just like the fact I could just adjust them to my personal preference. And then back here you have additional storage with some more ambient lighting over here. Headspace, I'm 5'8", I have a lot of headspace. So somebody who's like close to 6 foot shouldn't have any issues sitting back here. Maybe 6'1", 6'2", 6'5", I'll probably question it, but at that point I think life is just hard when it comes to like driving in the vehicles. And there is child lock seats, which I happen to be locked in here. But this is actually real wood, and it has the unique Mercedes emblem, and your window control is also located here. But that door has the child lock seats on, which can be enabled or disabled by here. Just like that, you don't have to use a key to disable that. All right, hopping inside the EQS. So the EQS, it's a very comfortable car to drive in. And then in here, you do have this unique design as a door handle. You basically would do this to like grip the door handle, which I think is kind of interesting. Trash bin or storage bin, whatever you like to use it here. Your trunk release is oddly located in there as well. And then over here will be your headlight control, your parking, which is automatic. Your e-brakes goes on automatically as soon as you put the vehicle in park. This is also wood. Since we have the hyper screen, we don't have a piano glass finish over here. We actually have wood with that Mercedes emblem imprinted on here as well. And your push to start is also located here as well. This does feature a fingerprint reader, which it's used to assign yourself to different drivers. So you can set that up so you can quickly switch between one driver profile to another. In here you find this massive storage compartment where I put my DSLR camera in here with 2 additional USB-C ports. No refrigerator, unfortunately, but these seats are stupid comfortable. Everything is adjustable, and they also are massage seats too. This pillow, super soft, but you can remove it if it's too much for you, like what I did over here. It was a little bit too much for me. I prefer roughness. If you have a significant other that likes to travel around with a big purse, they can store their stuff right here. There's also this clever little strap right here, so you can actually tighten and make sure nothing actually like moves around freely. 2 additional USB-C ports are also located there, and 2 additional USB-C ports are also located here with a wireless charger. And this cup holder, if it's too much, you can actually remove it and give yourself more space if you need to. And if your key fob is ever dead, you can use this as a backup. Just rest the key fob right here and it'll start the car. You also have NFC connectivities over here. And then this simply just locks into place. Your glove box is a button press and activated, and it's really large. I could fit like a 13-inch MacBook Pro in there. Same storage as the driver's side, memory seats for your passenger, and this is where you'll go in to lock or unlock the car. I forgot the name of the audio system, but they sound super nice. They feature a 3D surround sound ability, and your air vents, they're like these jet vent turbine looking things. They do a good job, but you also have air vents above here as well. And then you have this very large steering wheel. And right above here, your actual like sunroof, it's actually touch sensitive, so you can just slide your finger down to like close it. And if you like to open it, just do this, and it'll just open up both sides. They open up really differently than I'm used to. And then if you like to open it, you just press up. It gives you the option to like have it raised slightly up like so. Or if you like to fully open it, you totally can, or you can hold it midway too. But unfortunately, this is far back as it goes, so it's not all the way open, but a good 20 inches, as well as your air screen. Now, a cool hidden feature about this car, or a unique feature I should say, is these lights can automatically sense where your arm is. So if you're trying to grab something at night, it will automatically illuminate it to help you grab it in case you're trying to search for something on the passenger side. It does the same thing on the driver's side. And then these mirrors, they can actually just be controlled by just looking at them. So here's the mirrors controls, right? So right now, the right one is selected, right? Oops, accidentally closed them. So the right one's selected. And then if I continue pressing that one, I'm just looking at it. I'm moving it. See, it automatically switches depending on what you're looking at. So if I continue looking at this one, but if I move my head over here and press it, it automatically switches to that one. It has like sensors or something like that that basically is tracking my head or my eyes, and it's just adjusting my mirrors as I'm looking at it. And this is the same technology that it uses for the autopilot system that this Mercedes has. It just utilizes it for other things, which I think is kind of unique. Now, I did hop into the passenger side because I want to show you what the screen can do. Let's turn this on, select our profile. It's a very similar layout like our tablet we had here, but here we can set navigation for the driver. So we are really the co-pilot. You can pair your phone from here as well. Select between the different phones. You could tune the radio. You can launch apps. And yes, you can actually watch YouTube. And it also supports like other third-party apps as well. as you do have access to Apple Music, Amazon Music, a gallery, as well as some mini games you could probably install. I'm assuming Mercedes may end up adding more too, but you can also watch the weather, browse the web. It's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. But then if you want to adjust the vehicle settings for the driver, you can, but it's very limited on terms of like the things you could do on this screen, like your driver assist. But in terms of like advanced air quality system that it has, you could also integrate fragments too if you like to. But it does feature like a HEPA filter inside this Benz to make sure that the air quality is always clear and clean as much as possible. Starting to smell that fragment now. And you'll find the replacement ball to replace the fragment located inside the glove box. And then for the passenger side, they can actually pair like Bluetooth headphones too, so they could watch their YouTube video while the driver can actually listen to their music. Then you also have info, which will show you all the current vehicle information like battery flow, battery percentage, and everything else, including suspension as well as the mode that you're in. It's interesting. It's just really rich in terms of like data, which I kind of like. And of course you can slide down. So this allows you to actually share content between the 3 different screens on our vehicle. So the driver screen, the passenger screen. You can also change the content like on the tablet too if you wanted to. So this is where you can actually lock it. It's a very similar setting in the main screen as well. So let's go ahead and hop onto the main screen, but real quick, yes, you do have access to your notifications where you could adjust certain things like phone to connected, profiles, as well as your hotspot plan as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about these 2 massive displays we have here. So on a driver point of view, there's a couple themes you can select from. You can select understated, and when you select this and you tap OK, you can change between the different themes right here. It's one of a few like theme instrument clusters in this car that allows you to customize this color, as you're going to see in a little bit. But if you leave it as that and you go to sport would just be a giant like G-ball meter. You can check your G-force on what you're doing. Your range is also located differently as well. That sport classic is this iconic look, which actually allows you to change the center to different things you may want to see, like your kilowatts per mile or other data, including GPS or media that's currently playing. Navigation would just be your map, but we have our map on the center display, so that's not really necessary. Assistant's kind of cool because it allows you to see things that's ahead of you, including cars and pedestrians. And service will basically keep logs of all your upcoming services, which since this is an electric vehicle, you don't have to worry about oil changes or anything like that. Just worry about lubrication on brake pads and your tires, really. There's really nothing really to like worry about in terms of maintenance on an electric car. Just lubrication and then common things like tire pressure, tire tread and wear and such. So your heads-up display, hopefully this camera can pick it up. This does have a heads-up display, but in case it's not picking it up, basically a quick preview of how it looks like. Minimalistic would just be your speed. Sport mode will feature this little circle thing that will change colors depending on your acceleration and will also expand to be aggressive if that's how much power you're using and such. Standard would just be your like current speed, the street speed sign, lane keep assist and stuff like that. Automated reality, this car does feature automated reality, and this is how it looks like. It works really well. Not only does it show it on a heads-up display, but it will also show it on the center screen as well for your passengers to also see in real time, so you don't miss a turn. Eco display would just be a little ball that tells you how eco-efficient you're driving. Settings allows you to change the brightness as well as adjust the position of your heads-up display. And if you want the heads-up display to be on or off, this is where you actually go in and turn that off. And then out of all these displays, this is the only one that will actually get rid of the distraction right here, because we just got rid of our map layout. And I'm going to keep it this way because privacy. But you can also click here and change the color of basically the entire vehicle right here on the man. But if you want to go back to your map, even in this mode, just tap the home button, it'll take it back to your map, and there'll be this triangle icon will move over here if you want to go back to this calm display. Now, the steering wheel, there's a lot in this car, trust me, but I want to make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. It's using one of these columns, very similar to like a Tesla. Actually, Tesla took this from Mercedes originally. It's using this to change between drive and reverse and neutral as well. Your windshield wiper settings are located here. This does feature paddles, but it doesn't work like you may think. Down will be super aggressive for brake regenning, and plus will allow you to disable regen braking if you don't want that. Your cruise control / autopilot abilities, I forgot the name, but I have the text right there. What Mercedes used for their autopilot system is all controlled right here, and they're all touch sensitive. Your media control is also located here. I really do like this one because if I go into CarPlay as an example, see where it says OK, I could hands-free just control everything here. It does take a while to get used to, especially when you're listening to music and you just want to skip track, because there's no skip track button dedicated here. You have to go to here and click on it to change tracks, as you just witnessed me do right there. You do have a favorite button, which you could long hold to program to do other things. Like you can make it to turn off the display, show your efficiency, web browser, or you could add more stuff too if you want to add media, control, navigation, message, or an app. Now the backup camera. There's a button right here you can press, which will take you to this menu automatically. You could switch positions. Right now it looks kind of weird because we are in a closed environment, but it does update in real time, including your brake lights. So if you steer your steering wheel, it does actually steer the wheel. And since these EQSs do have four-wheel steering, as you can see, it actually shows us the animation, how it looks like in real life, including the front wheels. Brake lights are also included too, because our brake lights are indeed on when we press on them. But there's a lot of unique positions you could automatically set to see certain angles. And out of all of them, I think this is probably one of the most advanced backup cameras I've seen. You could even GPS lock it too. So if you drive here, it will automatically enable your 360 camera. So if you're parking, it will automatically do it automatically instead of manually having to press it right here. This is one of the few vehicles I know that will actually allow you to actually geo-lock your 360 cameras to automatically go off. And then you also have your parking assist setting over here, which this vehicle has, but I've always been skeptical on these. I've seen videos online, I'm sure you have too. But you do have parking assistant availability. Then in terms of driving modes, you do have comfort, sport, individual, and eco. And if this was the all-wheel drive model, I believe you will have an off-road version as well, off-road mode available as well. And to customize your individual, you can have it adjusted right here in the little cog. And here is where you can select the drive style for everything. So if you want your drive to be sport, but you want your suspension to be comfortable, you can select that right there. But it's really just those two settings. This car only has sport and comfort, and that's about it. And then if there's a mode that you're trying to select but you're unsure how, if you select the 360 car view, here you could actually switch between exactly what you're trying to adjust. So if you want to look at your headlights and adjust the headlight settings, just point the camera there and then tap light, and it will immediately take you to the light settings. And while we're here, if you go into the welcoming lights versus welcoming / farewell, you could switch between the different projectors you want your headlights to project. So if you want pixels, you could select pixels. If you want digital rain, you can select that. So I like the fact there's that customization ability, or you can have it off entirely if you don't like the projector. It could be a distraction. Now, since this is an electric car, if you go into open and close and go in vehicles, and where it says vehicle protection, you can enable it so it actually will turn on interior vehicle protection. By enabling this will run the AC so your vehicle doesn't go over 100 degrees and could damage your interior of the car. So if you live in a hot climate area like California, I do recommend turning that on, but the only drawback is it will draw energy when the vehicle is in park. And it may not have a security box like dash cams do, but it will take photos upon a collision. And you need to manually enable that because depending on the state, there could be some restrictions. But here in California, I'm safe to take photos in case of a collision impact. Other cool things you can find in the vehicle settings is the auto fold mirror. I like enabling that because this allows me to visually see if my car mirrors is folded in, so I know that the car is locked. And then in the comfort tab, I do like enabling easy entry and exit feature. This allows the vehicle to automatically raise the steering wheel as well as your seat to make it easier for you to come in and out of the car. Now, in driving, in driving section, sound experience. If you don't like the EV sounds that it makes, you could disable that, but if you like to change it, there's a bunch of different pre-made ones you can select from. all sound extremely sci-fi and definitely does make driving fun too. And you have the frame to also allow that sound to continue outside, not just inside the car. So it can sound like a Decepticon is outside the vehicle. Now, a cool little thing about this car is if you tap on this little EQ, it's going to bring you this window, right? If you select range and you select maximum range, it's going to turn off the climate control and the other settings you see right here. When you tap on here, it's going to add 6 miles of range automatically by doing this, because if you wait a little bit, it turns off our main display, our passenger display, our ambient lights, and the vehicle is still on. So we just have all the important climate controls like eco mode right here for climate and dash and even a heads-up display, but for everything else is turned off to preserve. This is definitely a unique feature in this car that just allows you to do one thing to turn it all off. Now, another fun little button right here is this car icon. This will take you to your quick settings for the vehicle functions, because right here you can disable your heads-up display, your lane keep assist, enable car wash mode, snow chains if you're in a snowy environment, and you can also access all vehicle settings from here as well, which just takes you here apparently. Oh, and you can also raise the suspension with the air ride suspension that this car has. And then in comfort mode, this is where you'll find your massage seat settings. You can do it either for the driver or passenger side, but in the comfort mode is also where you'll find your ambient lighting from here. You have a full RGB wheel to customize. Driver's side, a quirky thing that I do like is the ability to run both ventilated seats as well as heated seats at the same time. It's definitely an interesting experience. I'm assuming this is really good for like injuries, recoveries and such, because it's just blowing hot air at my back, which doesn't feel bad actually. And then you have the classic R button right here, which when pressed, you can actually control the passenger seat from here in case you need to do some adjustments for like your rear passengers. I like the fact that Mercedes continue to give us that ability right here, even on their newest EQS model, and decided just to remove it. I like that. Oh, and then there's also a setting that you can enable where the seatbelt itself would tighten as soon as you start driving. So once I put my seatbelt on, here you'll see. You'll need to go into your vehicle settings, and in the vehicle, occupant protection and enabled belt adjustment, and then you're set. Now, funny Easter egg is, you do have a virtual voice assistant, Mercedes. You could tell it to do things like, "Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?
Turn on my ventilated seats."
I'm switching on the seat ventilation.
And in no time, it actually did it. And then you can have goofy conversations like, "Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How can I help?
What do you think about BMW?"
The same as you do. Otherwise, we would not be sitting here.
Funny. That's actually really funny. But with that said, that was a lot. Let's see how this car drives. All right, driving the EQS. Sorry if I have the AC on blast. It's 100 degrees right now, and I'm like, I'm melting. I need AC. But I could confidently say that the AC does blow nice cold air like a big truck would. So that's a good thing right then and there. But yeah, this is the EQS. It's pretty quiet aside from the AC on full blast. This being an SUV that does weigh a tad over 6,000 pounds, you could definitely feel it. But when it comes to like road comfort, it rides extremely smooth. Like, I'm really surprised how smooth it could ride, judging the fact that it has some thin profile tires. Not ultra thin, but I'm like enough that I'm surprised that this is how the ride quality feels like. And my first honest impression when I first started driving this thing was the size of the steering wheel. It's pretty big. It feels like I'm driving like a minivan at times. My partner, she also got behind the wheels of it, also said the exact same thing without me telling her my feedback. Oh, hold on, we're accelerating on the freeway. Oh yeah, this thing definitely does accelerate and go. It's just unfortunate there's a slow Jeep that I have to let merge, or else I'm just gonna call them off. But back to the subject at large. Yeah, this steering wheel is definitely noticeably bigger than what I'm used to, but I know everybody has different drive personalities, and I am the type of person that preferred road feedback as well as a smaller steering wheel so I could steer and handle the vehicle better. So I'm sure it was like other people who love comfort over performance and stuff, they'll definitely appreciate this. But the 0-60, the instant torque from this electric motor really does get up and go. So there's no issues when it comes to merging on the freeway safely. 0-60, from my understanding, is in the mid 5 seconds, 5.5, I believe, for the rear wheel drive model. And if you get the all-wheel drive, it will also get more power. But so long as it's under 6 seconds, I think it's perfect for daily driving, especially when you need to make safe passes on the freeway. Now, we are on the freeway, and just for this section, I am going to turn off the AC. I'll power it all off so we get to hear how quiet this interior is. It's pretty quiet. I rarely hear any wind noise, and we're traveling at freeway speed. And then visibility, it's really good. My only complaint is the massive A-pillar right here for the two front ones, actually. There's no window in the middle, so the pillar is noticeably big and can get in the way, especially when you're trying to maneuver yourself through parking lots. But on the highway, open freeway, it's not really much of a big deal, but those pillars are definitely a blind spot right there, especially when you're in a parking lot setting. Now we do have the hyper screen right here, these triple screen displays, which is like 50 inches or something like that. That Benz is like trying to market. I'm not saying the M name of this manufacturer brand because I don't want to bring up the virtual voice assistant, but they're claiming it's like 50 something inches, but in reality it's just a big screen here, a small screen there, and a small screen here, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just saying it's not really like 50 inches all attached to each other. That would have been impressive. Now I'm starting to melt. I'm turning back the AC control. So what we are doing today, I'm going to take this to fast charge it because the vehicle currently is at 50%, and by the time we should get to a fast charging network, we should be around 48% at least. And this vehicle is able to accept up to 200 kilowatts charging rate. So I want to have this vehicle plugged in so we can actually see if that really is true, how those numbers will perform in the real world. So there is an Electrify America station not too far from us. That's where I'm going to go ahead and go and charge this vehicle up. And here's another turn, and so far the car handles really well. We are merging onto another freeway now, but I think I have a light. I do. So it's red on me, and now we're green. And then the car goes. And right now we do have the car on comfort mode, which is like one of the default modes. And yeah, I had no issue of merging onto the freeway. Unfortunately, I had to slow down for another Tesla that was driving a little bit under the speed limit. This vehicle does feature like smart like driving assist, like basically like what Tesla has with their autopilot. And to set it up is extremely easy. You just hit set and you're good to go. And the car does also lane change, but the car that was driving slow in front of us started to accelerate. So it will automatically change lanes to the fast lane to pass slow moving vehicles like it's doing right now. And then it's one of those sensors where it doesn't need to have your hands on the wheel. You just need to look forward, and then the car will basically drive by itself. And then so far I'm quite impressed. It's been able to pass slow moving cars, get to the passing lane, and then merge back respectfully. All right, we made it to Electrify America station. This station is set to be able to charge 350 kilowatts. Hopefully it's not out of order. I'm gonna check right now on the app if it is out of order. Number one is out of order. All right, so this charger is out of order and this vehicle is unable to actually show us which stall is out of order. Number four out of order? It is out of order service. Okay, all these stalls that are over 250 kilowatts or 200 kilowatts is what we want to test out are all out of order. So I'm going to go to a different place now. So this is one of the massive drawbacks about electric vehicles, especially third parties. Mercedes doesn't have access to Tesla's supercharge network, so there's no available stalls. I went to two different locations and this is the same outcome. Either working stalls or not working stalls, or fake cars like this Toyota BZ4X that's not even plugged in, just hogging a space right there. It's a headache. I'm gonna try again in the morning. So that is how it's like driving the EQS. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to deliver that data about how fast it could charge due to the realism that it doesn't have access to Tesla superchargers. Here in the States, at least where I live, I have access to Electrify America, but even in normal days, it's almost impossible to find a station that's either available or not out of order, like what you experienced earlier. So your best bet is to charge it at home, which I think is the best way to save money, since electricity, especially off-peak hours, is much more convenient charging at home like you do with your smartphone. But for long road trips, it's just something you have to keep in mind before switching to a full electric car. Anyways, there you guys have it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, because every Wednesday we look at other vehicles to check out. And yeah, the EQS was on our list for today's video. If you missed the previous one, check it out right over there. That is the Lincoln Navitas. Almost 30% cheaper, and also has some impressive hardware that this car doesn't have. So definitely do check it out over there. And it's a hybrid, not full electric, so you're not stranded whenever situations like what happened earlier could happen while driving this thing. Thank you so much for watching.